Namaste, guys.
Namaste.
So I'm starting a new thing on the channel. It's going to be called the Ginger Guru's Gurus. Because I've got a few good friends who are way more enlightened than me. They're much more enlightened than me. And so I thought I might as well share some of their wisdom with you guys on the channel. And, well, the main reason for doing it is just because it's fun. So this is my best mate, Sean. And he's Welsh. He's the most handsome mindfulness teacher in Wales. Aren't you, Sean?
Apparently so.
And he's also the most enlightened man in Wales, bar this one old guy who looks after sheep there, who's naturally really enlightened. So, what are we going to talk about today, Sean?
We're going to talk about nature.
We're going to talk about nature. So, when me and Sean met, he asked me out on a date. And I thought that he was wanting to go on a date with me because he was sexually attracted to me. And neither of us are actually gay. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay, but we're just not gay. And it turns out he just wanted to meet up with me because he thought I was cool or whatever, and then we became friends. And we used to walk around the park in Liverpool every day, just talking about non-duality, talking about spirituality, meditating together, and just having a good time, hey?
Yeah.
So, you spend a lot of time in nature, Sean.
Yeah.
So how has nature helped you on your spiritual path, on your path to becoming Wales's second most enlightened man?
Just in so many ways, it's hard to even put into words maybe what kind of a connection with nature has done for me. There's always been something pulling me to be in nature, I guess. I grew up in mid Wales, in a really kind of rural area. So I spent loads of my teenage years actually just going out into nature. And spending time with my mates in nature and doing what mates do, kind of making rope swings and jumping in rivers and all that kind of stuff.
Getting pissed.
Sometimes going camping and getting pissed as well. Yeah. So it's that was kind of in me for a long time, from a young age, I guess.
Yeah.
But then when I started meditating, I found that when I was in nature, my meditations were so much deeper. And I actually felt it was opening me up to something so much bigger than I was able to access from just being in a house or being in busy life kind of mode, And then trees really became a big kind of teacher for me.
Yeah.
And I kind of started hugging trees a lot and walking barefoot around the place. I was walking around a park in Liverpool barefoot all the time. And that kind of took me to a new level of connection, really. Firstly, it helped to just ground my nervous system, which was pretty kind of, I have quite an active nervous system that's maybe has a tendency towards anxiety and stress. So just kind of being grounded helped that. And I think then having a grounded system then helped me to open up to higher kind of deeper states of being, really. Yeah.
Wow. Well expressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when you were going through that, the tree hugging phase when you first started getting into that.
Yeah.
And we'd go on walks, and then Sean would stop at every other tree and hug it and kiss it, and I'd be like, "What's going on here?" He's like, "I've just fallen in love with the trees. I love the trees." And you used to go to that place in Sefton Park in Liverpool.
Yeah.
And just sit under that one tree.
Yeah.
Didn't you, every day?
Yeah, every day.
It was amazing. So what do you think it is about the trees that helps you, why does sitting near a tree and hugging a tree and connecting with a tree and being in relationship with trees help you with regards to spiritual awakening?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think in some ways I don't know. Like in some ways there's some sort of something that happens when you're under a tree. I mean, Buddha became enlightened under a tree, right? Didn't he? Under the Bodhi tree.
He did.
So, yeah, there's something about them that kind of, I don't know. It's hard to even explain. I think when I'm hugging a tree, I feel, if I hold and hug the tree for long enough, I really notice my nervous system just like letting go layer after layer. Similar to like when you have a nice hug with someone you feel close to, or a good friend. It's like you notice your system just like dropping and letting go. And that happens to me every time I hug a tree. What I did notice is that I started hugging trees a lot, and it soon became a thing that I was kind of doing because I knew it calmed me down. So it was almost like I was wanting to take from the tree. And then I noticed, shit, I'm not hugging this tree in gratitude and love anymore. I'm hugging this tree and wanting something from it. And then that shifted again. I was like, I came back to hugging the tree because I just wanted to hug the tree. It was there and it's a beautiful thing, and it was an act of like gratitude rather than need. So that definitely shifted in my practice. But to come back to why it's helped me to open up. In ways I don't even know. It's kind of, I don't know. There's something about them that kind of does something inside that helps me to open. It's almost like it opens the crown chakra on some level. I don't know.
Yeah, beautiful, man. Yeah, I used to, I think that's a very good point, that if you go towards nature with the intention of getting something out of it, then it kind of cuts that connection in a way.
Yeah.
You need to go into nature and just sit in the trees without trying to get anything. And instead just allowing the experience to kind of wash over you. And if you notice something coming up that is trying to get something, then you can't do anything about that. That's just there. You've just got to leave it and let it be. But it's more about relaxing into it, isn't it? And
definitely. It almost became an act of devotion for me. Every time I went to nature, it was like, I'm going because I'm wanting to unify with nature in that way, rather than at times it was like I'm going because I just want to calm myself down. But other times it was like I'm going because this is a place of like devotion for me, and of like a place where I can be as cliche as it sounds, like be at one with everything that's around.
I told you he was the most enlightened. I told you he was more enlightened than me. I'm the second most enlightened man in Wales. He really is. Maybe we move on to talk about meditation then. Because we lived together for a while, didn't we, in Liverpool? And we would just be talking like we're talking now. Well, not quite like now. We'd just be chatting away, eating some food, and then both of us would kind of just like be overcome with this just feeling to close our eyes. At the same time, we would just kind of close our eyes, sitting together at the table or on the sofa, and then we just wouldn't open our eyes for like an hour or 2 hours. We would just be in meditation just randomly. And we did that every day. We'd just be chatting, playing music, and then something would come and we'd just be like, zoom. And our energies would sync. I don't know if you experienced it like this. Like
Definitely.
Our energies would sync, and whatever I'd open to in my experience would kind of go into Sean, and whatever Sean had opened to would come into me. That's how I felt anyway. And Sean was very peaceful, like very zen, very just peaceful. So I was just getting this peaceful transmission from those meditations. But maybe I'll ask you, what do you think the importance is of being very dedicated? Because we always used to talk about this, didn't we? Like we were very dedicated. and still are. You know, sort of like 8-hour meditation a day kind of guys. Not anymore so much like that, but we were like that. So what do you believe the importance is of dedication on the path? And how can someone become more dedicated if they're not dedicated?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think I was dedicated, I think you were dedicated, but I think we were just dedicated, weren't we? It was kind of just how, it was just natural within us. Like that was our priority, I guess. Like our priority was always spiritual development, wasn't it? And like developing towards awakening, really.
Yeah.
And it felt innate within us, really, for me anyway. I don't know if it was the same for you.
Yeah.
Like,
there was no choice.
Yeah.
It was just, this is what we do.
Yeah.
Every day, all day, every day, this is what we do.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And I think being friends helped that, because we were both like in it, like it's what we lived for, wasn't it?
Yeah, we gave each other permission to be 100% all in on it.
Yeah.
Because before we met each other, we were just on our own, really, weren't we?
Yeah.
I hadn't met someone else who was as dedicated. And we met at this Kirtan event.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I meditate. And Sean was like, how much do you meditate? I'm like, I do like 6-8 hours every day. And he's like, what? Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
And then I met someone as dedicated.
Yeah.
And then we just started living together, and it was just fucking full ball from there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That's the moment I knew we'd be friends, when you said I do like 6 hours meditation a day. I was like, okay, we're gonna be friends. Yeah. But it's vital, really, isn't it? Like it has to be your deepest desire is to find God or whatever whatever you want to call it. It has to be your deepest desire, and I think it naturally should be within everyone. It's the deepest, it's union with God is all there is, like in this. It's like it's what there is in this life. Right?
Yeah, what else could you want? What else could you want?
Yeah, and I think once you have a taste of that and a feeling and a sense of it, then it will become your 100% path, because once you sense an opening and a possibility to that, then you'll naturally just be fully dedicated to it without even needing to try.
It's like Rupert Spira says, the most important thing in order to come into a real deep place, or whatever you want to call it, awaken or whatever you want to call it, is that you value truth and that you love truth.
Yeah.
And then he was asked, how do you get that value? How do you fall in love with truth? And he said, the way you fall in love with truth is by exploring truth. The way you fall in love with it is by exploring it. And then when you taste it, when you know it, it's like, this is it. It's like, what else could life be about?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And I think just to go back to the previous point, the reason we were initially dedicated was because of suffering, wasn't it? We both came out of a very similar period of just intense fear and trauma and suffering and stuff like that. So it started with just needing to get out of the suffering. And so you do the spiritual practices to taste truth, to come into beingness. And then you get out of the hell you were in, really. But a side effect of getting out of the hell is that you've tasted truth and you've fallen in love with truth, and so the dedication stays within you, and then you just keep going. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Once you've had that sense of God and the divine, then you just kind of carry on that path, don't you?
Yeah.
Very naturally.
Yeah.
It feels right to meditate all the time then, if that's your calling. Like, it feels right to do those practices.
Yeah. I'm just getting the sense of, I don't talk so much about devotion and stuff like that on this channel, but talking to Sean, he's a very devotional in his approach to spirituality in this work, and he sings mantras and is just like bowing down to God and stuff like that. So I think that's really beautiful. To finish, do you have any words on devotion?
Yeah, it's something I've explored so much in my life, and something that's brought me so much. It's deepened me beyond anything, really, is that love and that devotion in the heart. Yeah, for me it's helped me feel like, this might sound a bit cliche again, but like it's helped me feel love in a way I never thought I would ever experience in this life. It's helped me to experience deep love, not with anybody, but with God and with the earth and with the divine. And I think that comes a lot from just totally bowing down, like totally bowing the ego down to God, and just kind of falling on your knees and praying in your deepest moments, and being at the rock bottom, really.
Yeah.
Like it's just like all that's left when you're at rock bottom is your love for God, and that's what keeps you not only alive but actually thankful and grateful for life and everything, even the shit.
Yeah.
Good.
Grateful for the suffering because it takes you closer to that.
Yeah.
It's like to get dropped to your knees and then you just got to give the ego away. The only thing you can do is just give that ego away.
Yeah, totally.
And so it's good to get absolutely smashed to bits and fall to your knees and be in this messy place where you just have to just keep opening to something higher.
Yeah.
Keep opening to truth. Keep opening to your being.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I found faith and devotion, singing mantras, praying to God to be the best way to express that. It's like a really beautiful, especially singing, such a beautiful way to express that devotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, on that note, shall we end with a song?
Yeah.
We haven't got, usually Sean's got his harmonium, but could you do it a cappella?
Yeah.
Go on, you choose one and then I'll come in.
Okay. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Gurudev Namo.
Gurudev Namo.
Gurudev Namo.
Gurudev Namo.
Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Gurudev Namo.
Gurudev Namo.
Gurudev Namo.
Gurudev Namo.
Namo. Namo.
Thank you for listening. Sean will be back on again, I presume. And yeah, I'm glad to have introduced you to Wales's most handsome yoga teacher and second most enlightened man.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.